beat the Georgia Bulldogs, you're gonna feel the bulldog.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Row 60, Georgia Football Podcast. My name is Clark Gaines. Joining me today, as always, Adam Thornton.
Boom!
And this is show number 94. Well, this past Saturday was just not our night, folks. Georgia falls 28-10 to the Ole Miss Rebels. Adam, it sucks, doesn't it?
Still had to deliver a boom.
You did.
Still had to deliver a boom because Georgia's still in contention.
Exactly.
But I have a lot to say about what we saw in Oxford, Mississippi Saturday night. Not good, Clark. But there's a lot of stuff just to talk about, Clark. And I think there's a lot of stuff that we can say about what's going wrong and not point to one individual thing, but an assortment of things. Throw it all into the pot, stir it and mix it around, and then you get your result. Just a bunch of recipes for the result at hand of what we've seen and what's been a trend this year. And here in Row 60, man, that we've been red and black glasses kind of shaded to some of the stuff in the sense, or maybe just wanting to be delusional about what's going on. But a lot of stuff to kind of dive into, but a lot of hope, too, that we can still be optimistic and excited about, because this season's not over yet, Clark. No. Even though to some people it feels like it is. And shoot, even after that game, you even thought, man, how in the world are we going to overcome that, in the sense of that type of loss and the stuff that we're going to talk about, how we're going to be able to beat Tennessee and finish the season in the 12-team playoff, be able to get a berth, man. But with this new playoff format, there's still hope alive. National championship hopes are still on paper alive. So, hey, man.
Hey, we got to just go compete. At this point, it's about competing. It's about, fighting, scrapping, clawing. If we are the team we think we are, which I don't think we necessarily are, but if we are, you dig down deep right now, this week of practice, you get back to work Monday morning, and you start figuring it out. You start getting better and improving, and that's exactly what Kirby Smart said to his team during the locker room, or in the locker room after the game.
Yep.
He was talking to the media, Adam, and he said one thing that really it got me, not necessarily excited, but it comforted me and at peace, knowing that the team's not like this. They're not focused on this roller coaster wave of emotions, right? We as fans can ride that roller coaster, but them, no, they're even keel, and you got to be. This is a marathon, people, and yes, we stumbled this past Saturday night. It sucks. But we got to focus on Tennessee this week, and that's what we're going to do on this episode, as well as look back at the Ole Miss game.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about what went wrong and a few positives, I would say. We've got an announcement to make. We're going to, once again, preview the Tennessee game, talk about what it's going to take to beat a very good Tennessee team. As much as I hate to admit it, they are very solid. Statistically, all across the board, they are in the top 50 in nearly every single category. Really good football team. We're going to talk about last week's games, this week's games, and then we have a pick six at the end and some score predictions.
Clark. I mean, a lot to talk about, man. Still very exciting things to come next week. It all rides on next week, right?
Yeah.
We're sitting here, recording this episode after a loss against Tennessee. It's a whole different tone. But, hey, man, we're not going to think that way. But there's not going to be a lot of sunshine pumping tonight, but there's not going to be all doom and gloom as well, talking about all this stuff, man. So I'm excited to dive into it. I got a lot to share my thoughts on it. I know you do too, and just excited to talk about it. Let's see what we can talk about here.
This Friday night, we're going to have a live call-in show right here from our. We're going to call this place Row 60 Studios.
Row 60 Studios Incorporated. That's Inc. Right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
comma
right.
Inc.
That's right.
But live call-in show is going to be a lot of fun. Facebook Live and YouTube, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, November 15th. Just go ahead and mark it down on your calendar. No Friday night football for a lot of teams in Georgia anymore, so you're not attending those games anymore. You need to be watching us. We'll get you hyped up for the game and be taking everybody's calls across the nation.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about that. I know a lot of people have things on their mind and their opinion on what's going on with this football team right now, what they think is going to happen the rest of the way. And what a perfect opportunity, man, to get on this show. And any opinions welcome. Whatever you think, it's your opinion, and we want to hear it, Clark.
Yeah.
So, hey, let's do it.
That's right. So, live college show, once again, Friday night. Be there or be square, as the old saying goes.
That's right. That's what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
I couldn't think of anything better to
Clark,
tag out.
you had a heck of a road trip you just encountered, man. Also coming off the week we had in Florida, the weekend we had in Florida, then you turn around and go to Mississippi. So I know you're running on some fumes right now.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell in my voice, my voice has not recovered from the Texas game.
Yeah.
And then we had the bye week,
Yeah.
right? And then we go play Florida, and it's still not 100%.
Right.
It's like a lingering injury, like an ankle sprain that just kind of keeps lingering. But you got to push forward.
Yeah, but then this Georgia weather too, Clark. How it is, it's 82 and then 55 and raining, man, and you just get a 20 to 30 degree fluctuation in temperature on a day or two, and it ticks me off. Like Friday, it already set the tone for the weekend. Like Friday when it was 82 and it was November 8th, I was ticked out there.
Yeah,
I was ticked because I love my cold weather, man. I'm not a big 95 degree guy in July, just sweating your tail off at work. I love colder weather, man. I'm ready to wear a sweatshirt, ready to wear a Carhartt vest every day, and indulge in the cold weather. But if it's November 8th and it's 82 degrees, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Don't like it. But anyway, I digress again. It can proceed, man.
Yeah, but yeah, we went to the game. Me and McKay did. Adam, you stayed here and watched the game from the friendly and dry what's the saying? Confines
yes,
of the shop.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And you got to enjoy it from here, and I got to get just drenched out there in Ole Miss. It was very rainy.
Yeah.
It wasn't like downpour, just
constant
heavy rain.
Yeah.
It was just a nice light sprinkle throughout the entire game. And the Grove was absolutely insane. We went in 2016, Adam. It was a very atmosphere. Now, you've been there before.
Yeah, in 2011 too. I've been there twice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice, but it's not one of my favorite places to go in the Southeastern Conference. But
I will say that the Grove this time was absolutely insane.
I
mean, you couldn't move. And that's where everybody obviously goes to tailgate. Like we walked by all the sorority and fraternity houses, me and McKay did. And he was like, "Where is everybody at?" I'm like, "They're at the Grove." That's
right.
Like literally the whole state of Mississippi just fits in like a, 2-3 acre lot of land.
Right.
It's just insane. But no, great atmosphere. Hats off to Ole Miss. They really did have a killer game day atmosphere. It wasn't necessarily the loudest I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
The stadium's it's just shy of 70,000 seats. And so Georgia fans definitely traveled. We were there. It was hard to see that on TV. Obviously, it was very foggy.
They did, and they did a red out as well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a smart kind of move.
It is.
Use a secondary color of theirs to kind of negate the primary color of the opposing fan base. So, I mean, that was good move. You got to tip your hat. Again, there's many things you got to tip your hat to the Ole Miss Rebels, but that's one of them too. So.
Yeah. But once again, great game day atmosphere. It's one of those games. If you didn't go to it, you didn't miss anything. I can assure you that. You better be glad you weren't there, honestly, and you saved your money and your time and your voice.
I'll have to tell you about my game day experience
Please
at the
do.
shop too. Whenever can I say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Well, what happened, Clark? And you know me, and I'm weird. I'm very weird when I watch games outside of wherever the game's been played, so not in the stadium where Georgia's playing, and I'm going to watch it in the shop here. And usually it's just a couple people, because if I watch it with a big group of people, I will get on everybody's nerves at the gathering.
Yeah.
So I just don't put myself in that situation, because I'm up, I'm pacing, I'm yelling, and it's obnoxious kind of, and I just don't put myself. So I just really watch it with maybe couple buddies or family or whatnot. Well, just so happens everything turned out Saturday. It was just me and Callie in the shop.
Oh,
at the beginning
boy.
of the game.
Oh, boy.
Like there was a little bit of miscommunication on if my parents were going to come or not.
Right.
And usually, since my daughter's been bored, my mother will come and she'll kind of entertain Callie while I'm zoned into the game. And my wife, Kelsey, wasn't there at the moment. So it's just me and Callie, my 2-year-old daughter, in this big environment. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I actually got to act like a responsible parent, like for the first time ever. Like there's nobody else but me and Callie here.
Oh, man.
So it was when Dan Jackson got the interception. I jumped up and I went crazy, and she did too, threw her arms up, and I tossed her up in the air and danced around with her and everything, and it was great. And then as the game progressed, my wife finally did come. Kelsey came, and but I threw my hat on the ottoman. And I didn't say any explicit words. I just I said a shoot or something, and I threw my hat in the ottoman, and I saw her look at me do it, and I was like, Adam, don't do that. Don't do that. So I had to compose myself. I had a real moment there. I was like, yeah, I don't need to I can't do that, you know. But it was interesting there for a little bit when I was like, oh man, I got to be a parent and still, you know, control my emotions. I got to grow up right here, you know.
Right.
And it was wild. So I was having a little wild time in the shop here with me and my 2-year-old dog, Callie. So.
No, I understand that. Well, I don't understand, you know, having a kid having to act like an actual adult yet. I will.
You will.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
But I do understand the reason why you don't want to be with a large group of people. I'm like you. If I'm watching a game, I'm either here with you at the shop. If we're not at the game, we're here at the shop, or I'm at home by myself or with Caitlin. Caitlin's invited, but I just can't watch it with anybody else. And I have a lot of friends who I'd love to watch football with, but not Georgia football.
And I do it for their sake. Really.
Yeah, right, really. Right. Like, well, and two, if you're going to watch it with me, I need you to watch it at the same level of intention and excitement and enthusiasm.
That's why when we watched it together at the house, I mean, you had a good video of the Missouri game in 2022 when we were down here, and like we're doing figure eights around the room, and then like we would make a comment as we passed by each other in our pacing, and I would do that in a stadium. I would pace in a stadium too if you weren't just confined in a row. You know? I mean, you can't do that really. So when I get free real estate, Clark, to pace around during the game, I'm just up the whole time jabbering.
Well, you must have been doing a lot of pacing.
Oh, I paced. Oh, yes, I did. I was doing a lot of it, man. Anyway. So, yeah.
Well, we're back in Sanford.
A lot to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. We're back in Sanford this week, so we'll be there together, back in action, boots on the ground. But
just what the doctor ordered, baby.
Yep. So let me give you this, Adam. Let me give you the weekly concession stands report from Ole Miss Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Adam. The lines at the concession stands were very slim. And I don't know if that's because it's just a smaller stadium or they move people in and out very quickly. Yeah. Either way, I was thrilled about that. I got one thing.
What's that?
It was a $15.50 Grove burger.
Gosh.
It was just a burger, right?
Just a burger.
And I'm thinking, man,
$15.50?
If I'm about to spend $15.50 on a burger, it better be really freaking good.
You know what you could get for $15.50?
A lot.
Three $5 biggie bags from Wendy's. Golly. So that's 3 hamburgers, 3 nuggets, and 3 fries and a drink. 3 of them meals drinks. You could get for $15.50.
Yeah,
three
That's
drinks.
Insane. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I
best deal in fast food. That's amazing. That blows my mind. $15.50 for a Grove burger? Are you kidding me?
And I was like, once again, this better kick some tail. It better be really, really good. It was awful, man. It's what you order at the school cafeteria. No hate towards those people. No. But you don't pay $15.50 for a burger at school.
So it wasn't just a good, like, off the grill, like you'd see in the Little League baseball game.
No. And they served it with these chips, right? And the chips look good. I was like, man, maybe the chips are the saving grace.
Tater chips? Oh, yeah. Like Zaxby's used to have back in the day. Do you remember them bad boys?
They still have them.
They have homemade tater chips. Do they really? Mm-hmm. You're kidding me. They can't be on the menu because I've looked for them bad boys for over a decade.
You got to ask for them.
Oh, a specialty item, you say? Yeah. All right, then. Okay, but anyway.
I was like, maybe the chips will save it. No, they were awful, cold, kind of soggy too.
Yeah.
Just stale. Man, I was so disappointed in the food. But once again, the lines were amazing. I stood in line for maybe 10 seconds both times I went. Nice. The other time I got just a refillable mug. So yeah, I'd give it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah,
on the concession stands experience. But
man,
hate
that, Clark. No, that $15.50 for a burger, that's ridiculous. That's price gouging. That should be eliminated. We do need to start a coalition on price gouging in stadiums. But hey, what do you do when you want to eat and that's the only option?
It's a monopoly.
Part of it.
Yep. All right.
Oh, man. Clark, people are going to be listening to this episode. A lot of people that we know that don't like Georgia watching this episode, just waiting for our reactions on this. Kind of like people watch MSNBC last Tuesday night. Kind of the same thing. Just looking for a good reaction for entertainment.
Oh, man. We're delaying the inevitable.
That's it.
All right, next segment, Clark's not so fun facts. Ole Miss broke a 0-11 all-time streak at home versus AP top 2 opponents. Of
course they did.
Of course it's Georgia too. Of course
it did.
Gosh,
of course
dang
it did.
It had to be somebody, I guess.
Clark, I thought, and then this was the only kind of, when I was watching on TV, you were long gone in the car heading back to Georgia. So you didn't get to see in real time the fans storming the field. like that.
No, yeah.
And I was just thinking, well, trying to be a little glass half full. At least we're a program that gets the goalpost tore down.
Yeah.
If they beat us,
Right.
you know, I mean, you don't want that to happen. You hated seeing that, but at least you could say, hey, you know,
we're one of those teams.
One of those teams.
It means something to beat
Right.
Georgia.
If you're looking for positives in that regard, there's one of them right there.
To that point, Lane Kiffin, this is an actual quote in his post-game, his interview in midfield during that storming of the field. He said, "We planned for this game for a year."
Yeah, I bet they did. Yeah.
They wanted this one, y'all. I mean, this was,
did.
I heard 6 times. I counted 6 different times as I was walking into the stadium. And listen, it's not like I was there all day. We got there and we pretty much walked to the stadium. But on my way to the stadium, I heard this. This is the biggest game in Ole Miss history.
Oh, wow.
For a home game.
Really?
I heard it 6 different times.
Dang, man. I guess, it was an elimination game for playoff contention for them as well.
Right.
So, that's going to bode a long way for them getting in the 12-team playoff because that's a very impressive win over Georgia, the standard of college football the past few years, man. And I can see where that's the case. And, you see it. They got embarrassed in Athens about the same time last year, 52-17. What they do, they go raid the portal and make their defense better, especially their defensive front. And that's just something you got to tip your hat to them about. And their players, they were banged up too. They had key injuries too, just like Georgia did. Everybody in the Southeastern Conference and across college football, but especially in the SEC, especially this new look SEC, has injuries in November. And so you can't use that as an excuse for Georgia because Ole Miss did too. They wanted it more. They out physical, coached, everything above Georgia. And that's when you just got to humble yourselves and tip your hat to it too.
Yeah, and get back to work.
That's right.
Ole Miss also broke our 52 straight game winning streak over teams not named Alabama. Man, that one stunk.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
It does. It does. It had to end eventually.
Exactly.
If you had to have another glass half full approach, I'm glad it was Ole Miss that did it instead of if it had to happen again, instead of a big time rival,
Like Tennessee. Or Florida. First 3 games, 0 turnovers for Georgia. Last 6 we've played at them, 15 turnovers.
Can't win football games at any level. Recreation, pee-wee, whatever you want to call it, flag football, shoot, can't. I don't care what type of organized American tackle football it is at any level. If you turn the ball over that many times in games, you're not going to win the football game.
Exactly.
It's simple as that.
Yep. Georgia only had 2 plays that went for more than 20 yards. We call those explosives, people.
And how many explosives did Ole Miss have?
I don't even know. I
couldn't multiple.
Count.
You couldn't keep it. Yeah.
There you go. It's not hard to realize why we lost this game. It comes down to turnovers and line of scrimmage, and we got beaten both of those.
Yeah.
All right, let's just dive right into this. Let's talk about Georgia's offense versus Ole Miss's defense. Now, this was obviously the matchup of the game. I don't think we gave this enough attention, Adam, you and I. We thought it was really going to be Georgia's defense versus Ole Miss's offense. And, obviously that was a good matchup too. But this is where the game was won, I thought. And more specifically on the line of scrimmage. Let's go. Let me talk about this right quick. 245 total yards of offense. 245. That's just not good. That's not cutting it.
So, and also you could say going into the locker room at halftime, it was the second time in the Kirby Smart regime since 2016 that Georgia had less than 100 yards of total offense going in halftime. That was the second time. The first time was this year in Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah.
So both times have happened under this 2024 offense.
Not good, folks. And here's what's even crazier. We had the ball for 5 more minutes. It's not like they just controlled the clock or anything.
Yeah.
In fact, we did that, but we just weren't efficient offensively, man.
Yeah.
We just really did not get it going. First of all, let's give Ole Miss a ton of credit on the defensive front. Man. We talked about this last week. We talked about them raiding the portal, getting guys, especially on the defensive front, defensive line. Is that going to pay off for them? Sure enough, it did. We got absolutely whooped up front.
Yeah.
And it was bad.
And it's hard to sit here and say that we lost in the trenches on both sides of the football to Ole Miss. But we did, and especially though our O line versus their D line, they went out. They realized to be competitive, to take the next step in the SEC, you have to have a good defensive front, man, and get where they want to be at. And they went out, and because of what college football rules are right now, you could go out and do what they did, and they got a bunch of mercenaries and transfer portal players, and got a very good defensive front, and getting Pete Golden, a guy who got a lot of ridicule at Alabama, but the best defense coordinator they have had, and completely revamped that Ole Miss defense from what we've seen the previous years, man. And that was on full display Saturday night. And, again, Clark, I mean, what else do you say? But you tip your hat to them for that, because they embarrassed this Georgia offensive line. I mean, one of the worst embarrassments I've seen in the Kirby Smart. It was the most embarrassing offensive line performance I've seen in the Kirby Smart era.
I'll take it a step further. It was the worst offensive performance I've seen. All across the board.
In the Kirby Smart era. Absolutely.
Because, and you might could find a game in 2016, fine. But this team is way more talented offensively. I mean, I know you had Chubb. I know you had Sony Michel. But big picture here, we have more dudes, I think we have more dudes offensively than we did then.
At least we were told preseason we did.
Yeah.
And we echoed that out.
Yep. So it's just wild, folks. I mean, it's wild. But, let's talk about the offensive line a little bit more. They are still banged up, right? I mean, we have not, and that's one thing maybe we're not talking enough about, is injuries on the offensive line. Obviously, Tate was not ready to go yesterday. I think he's still, that ankle or whatever is still lingering. And, you got to give that some time to heal. But more than that, man, like, our tackles, I'm just going to say this, our tackle play is atrocious. And yes, once again, you got to give Ole Miss a lot of credit, especially their defensive ends. Can't remember the kid's name, but coming off the
Walter
edge,
Nolan kid.
Him, and then the other dude.
The other boy. Yeah, what's it?
Both guys. They
was
were
it Paul? Is it Paul?
I don't know.
I forget. I don't really want to remember. But all right, I'll say this about the offensive line. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. We are back to Mark Richt, Rob Sale, first round Stacy Searles offensive linemen, where you're playing guards at tackle, that you do not have true tackles.
Yeah. And
period.
I can't remember how many years straight we've had an offensive tackle taken in the first round. But it's not happening this year.
No, not at all. Not at all, man. And I mean, you miss some and whatnot, but at the end of the day, I'm going to eat some crow, because I've been very optimistic about position coaches. When he was hired, benefit of the doubt, I think we talked about, we hope, but we're going to trust Kirby on it. And then I did keep, last year and the year before, I was a bit like, oh, he's all right, it's a good hire. But Clark, this right here, this offensive line, it's 100% coaching. I mean, yes, you could talk about the injuries and whatnot, but and many other units, not just the offensive line, you could talk about it, just a lack of player development and regression is there. And I think if you're the first coach that will be, and we're just going to go ahead and say it, on the chopping block, is going to be Stacy Searles.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. Well, the thing is, once again, it's not like one guy's having a bad game. And no, it's across the board. Mm-hmm. And it's across the board for the entire season. They've played inconsistently. And I'm not sitting here saying our offensive line has never played good this season. They have at times, but if you're just looking at the whole body of work, our offensive line, man, is average at best this year. And this was a group that we were sitting here saying. This was a
Joe Moore Award preseason finalists. Yes, watch. And it wasn't just us, red and black, shaded glass, sunshine pumpers, casual fans saying that. It was guys who get paid the big bucks to be in the college football media saying that this was a preseason Joe Moore Award winner. Yes, I understand that Jerry Wilson was hurt and Tate Ratledge was hurt early in the year. I understand that. And it's hard to get back to Sam Pittman level depth in the offensive line because of the new era of the transfer portal, and I'm going to get back to that later on. But in the same sense, Clark, what happened Saturday was just a total tail whooping. I mean, you cannot – it's inexcusable. And not only just that you got beat man on man, the communication between the offense and line and Carson and whoever it may be that ultimately trickles on down from Bobo on down. There's a video circulating the internet, Clark. Have you seen the one where it's just a handoff to Cash Jones and all four base rush
Well, I
defense.
think that was a bust.
That's what I'm about to say. That's what I'm about to say. I mean, everybody's saying, "Oh my God, the offensive line." I mean, there's no way that all four of them whiff like that and get the swim. There's no way. That had to have been a screen that they did not hear Carson check. And I don't care. I mean, yes, it makes you feel good that they just didn't get beat that, but still, that's an issue of communication right there, man.
I got to say,
and how much of that's going on that we as a casual fan don't pick up on.
Let me just say this. If you believe that those guys just totally whiffed at the line, you have a very low football IQ. And I hate to be mean, but that's just the way it is. Because there's a lot of unwarranted criticism going in the wrong places from Georgia fans right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's directed at Carson Beck. But I think, and we'll get to him in just a second, but I think it's across the board. Offense has just – it looked broken the other night. It's looked the worst it's been in the Kirby Smart era.
One of two things happened on that play. It was a bust, or either Cash Jones took all five of their girlfriends out on a date for a nice meal.
Yeah.
That's the only explanation.
Exactly.
No, I mean, seriously, though, it definitely was a bust. I mean, and that's another issue with the offense, too, Clark. If you notice, and Cash Jones, I love Cash Jones. Love him to death. But if you notice, man, I, as a fan, point this out. Maybe I'm wrong on it, but I feel like 98% of the time, if Cash Jones is in the backfield, the ball's going in the air.
Yeah, that's about right. I mean,
and if I know that, defense coordinator's going to know that,
sure.
right? I mean, I think that definitely was supposed to be some type of screen that, and that happens, of course. Don't want to ridicule it too much, but that's the video that's popular that we do need to say that's definitely was not just poor form. It definitely was a bust.
Offensive line gave up 5 sacks. You know, man, and maybe we're being a little too harsh on them. They did protect well at times. But when it was obvious passing situations and you're in pass pro, it's not like we're zone blocking, doing this RPO zone blocking stuff. No, it's obvious pass pro situations. If we still can't protect, that's a little concerning. And once again, hats off to Ole Miss's defense front. They were solid. But, 5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. It's just not good, man. And a lot of people look and they see Carson Beck on the ground.
Yeah.
God bless him. There's not much he could have done last night. If you're sitting here saying Carson Beck is a problem, I don't know, man. I don't think he was.
Not in this game.
Not in this game.
Not in this game. Now, we're not going to give him a free – I personally can't give him a free pass for the whole year.
Sure.
But this game, no, you're 100%
And I'm not
right.
saying he played – I'm not saying he went into like elite status mode, NFL first round draft pick mode. No. But he didn't play bad.
No. I mean, he did the best he could with what his particular – and he's a very talented quarterback as far as the tools and intangibles that he has. But the only people who could overcome how big of a daggum just tail whooping this offensive line received against the Ole Miss defensive front and actually make something happen would be a dual threat type guy who could get out of the pocket. Maybe. And I mean, just for that particular instance, I'm just saying that in the sense that last night, no, he really didn't have a chance to – at all to really just to get comfortable in the pocket and get in the rhythm. Yeah. And then, again, now defending him when he did make some good throws a lot. There was, again, some more drop passes last night.
Yeah, we literally lead the nation in drop passes this year.
And that's a true fact.
Yeah, that's
just past UAB last night or Saturday night.
Right. Very uncharacteristic, man. It's not something that I would have guessed preseason. I think I said this actually, and I'm now eating some crow. I said that this was going to be one of the best wide receiver rooms in Georgia history. And I guess if you still have Colby Young and you still have Ra Thomas, maybe that looks a little different. If your offensive line protects well, maybe that looks a lot different. But, Carson, though, I don't think you can necessarily put this game on him. He played pretty well, 20 of 31, 186 yards through the air, one interception. And the one interception, it's batted down, or it's not batted down, it's batted up in the air and then, deflected and the guy, picks it off. But that is one thing that's been concerning. I brought this up to you, Florida game. We're sitting there talking about it. Carson, man, he just stares down his receivers a little too much. Yeah. And if you're game planning against Carson Beck, you're telling your defensive guys, hey, listen, if he's looking, you get your hand in the air and bat it down. You know?
Yeah, and they've done a good job at that, man. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think. But I tell you what, that interception, I believe that's the drive that really ticked me off the most in the sense of not necessarily putting it on the players, but more of a coaching thing, going to the coaching, especially after you didn't see it on the TV. They asked Kirby going in the fourth quarter, what do you got to do to win this game? I think at that point in time, I might be wrong, but we were down by about 12 points. Definitely 2 possessions going into the fourth quarter. Kirby said, we're going to need 1 turnover on the defense side, and we're going to need to have about 3 or 4 good offensive possessions. I did not feel like there was any sense of urgency with the new clock rules, that possession. I mean, I felt like, man, it's kind of like, come on, a little bit. I mean, I understand you didn't need to be just in full, like 2-minute drill, but have a little bit of pace. And then we ate up so much of the clock on that drive, being down 2 possessions against a good Ole Miss offense. And then you get down into the red zone, or not the red zone, but I forgot where it was on the field, but get down there and then you turn the ball over. And but you ate up so much clock on that, man. And it almost feels like when this offense does kind of get a little bit of kind of hurries up, a little bit of a sense of urgency, and almost that they don't have time to think, there's better results in a sense.
Maybe, yeah. Let's see, Carson.
Well, like they were in the second half in Alabama.
Right. Let's see. I'm reading through some notes here. One thing I don't like, Adam, and this is something you and I both talked about, is Carson's body language.
Yeah.
Kirby is really, really big on body language throughout practice. And he always has been since the moment he got there to Georgia, and I was there and I saw it every day. He would call out guys and yell certain things that I'm not going to repeat on this show. He would yell at them and call out their body language. If it was poor, he'd let them know, and he'd make them run. And there would be sometimes we actually, going back, I just now remembered this. We actually had a guy on camera on the ground looking for body language, like bad body language. And we literally made an edit of just the bad body language in practice. We put it together and we let the whole team watch it. Like that was a thing. So all this to say, the body language is a big thing for Kirby. And I think more than that, it's a big thing for the team, especially if you're a leader. And Carson Beck, whether people like it or not, is or should at least be the leader of this team. And if you got poor body language there, I think it resonates with the entire team. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm being too harsh on Carson, but there's just not enough life is what it feels like coming from him.
We talked about the it factor a lot when Stetson Bennett was here.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't seem like that's it right with Carson Beck right now, where he's at. And, I mean, like you said, but, Clark, the thing about this offense right now is you just throw in this stuff. You throw in, you just said, the receivers lead the FBS and drop passes. The offensive line, the PFF grades that those guys had last night were abysmal. You have a quarterback that is not confident in himself. You have a running back room that's decimated with injuries. That's one thing to talk about. Trevor Etienne is not healthy. You have Nate Frazier running hard and angry, which you like to see. But why he hadn't got a lot of touches yet is because he's liability to turn over the football.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, well, why is Kirby chapping Nate Frazier and getting on to him so much when he's fumbling the football, but he's not Carson Beck? It's a whole different scenario with the quarterback, period. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but it is. It is, especially where it's at now and just the difference in the two. And that's one thing with Kirby Smart that people are saying, he rode Stetson Bennett, called him out in press conferences, but he's saying that Carson Beck's playing great when maybe, his pat of approval saying he's doing fine, it really isn't warranted. That's what makes a great football coach, Clark, and is being able to read your guys and get out of them the best. And it's different in every single circumstance, man. And I don't know. I mean, the old coaching narrative is too, Clark, that it is if you're hard on, then you see something in them, but I think one thing with Carson Beck is Kirby sees and he knows that it won't help. It will make it even worse if he is publicly saying that Carson's got to play better when that fueled Stetson Bennett. Yeah. And one, you know what I mean? So that makes the great coaches knowing how to, even in press conferences to the media, to the public, and maybe it's something different behind closed doors that we don't have access to. Mm-hmm. But in the media's eyes, man, it might be different in Stetson Bennett. He thrived, man, on being called out like that. It just made him better. But Carson Beck, that's just seems the case. By now, it's a trend that Kirby thinks that's not the best way to handle it, too, in a sense. But I don't know. You go back to that, it's not all on him. I mean, he's definitely not just lighting up the world by any means. But you look at all that stuff, Clark, it's not good.
No.
I don't know if you're getting it fixed to a championship caliber at this point in the season. But I was going to the running backs. And then you got Trevor Etienne, who's banged up. And then we hadn't really even talked about the Robinson boys being injured.
Neither of them are
so
playing.
You looked at, in August, man, a running back room that just made you salivate at the depth in it, and the talent is all of a sudden just now you got really the only ones healthier, Nate Frazier and Cash Jones.
Yeah.
And ETN, God love him. I love that kid's heart. He's one of the guys who was just left out on the field, I thought, every single game this year. You can't point to him at all. So that's one thing to think about, too.
Yeah, couldn't really get a running game established. 83 yards on the ground. If you adjust it for sacks, it's 59. Frazier led the team with 12 carries and 47 yards. Man, I love some Nate Frazier. That's one positive about this. He runs, he rumbles. Man, he wants it. He loves the game of football. And, yeah, I know he turned the ball over, and he about turned it over twice. But I really love how, I don't know, he just wants it, man. He's proud to wear that G on his chest. He loves the history of Georgia football and Georgia football running backs. And I love that, man. And that's why Kirby is so hard on him, is because if he does the little things right, then he's going to perform better and, help this team even more than he already is. So, yes, I mean, it's like great point, though, about Kirby and coaching, because you just can't coach everybody the same way across the board. It does not work that way. I coached JV football. I was a position coach. And truly, you got to coach guys different ways, and you're exactly right. That's the sign of a good coach. And I did it on a very, 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 very small scale compared to Kirby. But yeah, Kirby's he's gonna call out the Stetsons, but he's gonna maybe baby and coddle the Carsons, because maybe that's what he needs. I don't know. But it really is a mental thing.
Did you make $13 million a year when you coached JV football?
I didn't make $1,300. Adam. I don't even know if I made $13.
Oh, man.
But no, anyway. So yeah, turnovers though. Huge issue in this game. We said this. It's not rocket science. You just can't turn the ball over. It doesn't matter if it's football or basketball. You can't do it. And we did it 4 times through 1 interception. Oh, sorry. We put the ball on the deck 4 times.
Yeah.
2 official fumbles, 1 interception. So 3 turnovers. Yeah. Just not a good recipe to win a football game.
Look, I'll say this too, man. Right now, how the offense has struggled is they can't block. They haven't been consistently been able to block this year, catch the football this year, hold on to the football. I mean, just miscues, man.
We're not getting explosives either.
Right. And execution is just not there. And no, I mean, we have been very big defenders of Mike Bobo on this podcast. And if you're not a Mike Bobo fan, then right now where we're at, then in your opinion of it is, you have an argument to stand on with that 100%, because Mike Bobo is the CEO of this offense. Ultimately, it's Kirby, but the branch in this organization right now that is struggling the most, Bobo's the head of right now. So you have to, and you could say, well, the play calling's there, but if the execution's not there and there's been player regression and lack of development, that falls on the coach, position coaches, offense coordinator, everybody on down, and he knows that, obviously. And you have to, when players are struggling, be able to coordinate plays and draw plays up that are going to be able to, kind of, I know he's handcuffed in the sense, too, obviously, with stuff going on, but you got to find something to kind of help get some rhythm with what you got and not be fitting, a square peg in a round hole, in a sense. But, Clark, too, I just feel there's so many plays that are being drawn up that everything has to be executed perfectly in order to be successful, much less an explosive. There's so many blocks that have to be made and so many things that players have to do their assignments to the fullest, that everything has to go right for it to work, in a sense. And I see that out there. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I just don't feel like just the offense is in a good spot going forward. Maybe it'll change and I can eat crow on it. But right now, it's concerning at this point.
One last note on the offense. Penalties, man, just killed us. And it's just untimely things, too, specifically in this game. Second drive of the game, you get an illegal formation. flag after getting up a pickup of 12 yards. It's just little things like that. You come out of the second half, you're only down, 16-7 or something like that?
Yeah.
You're only down, two scores, I guess. But you need a definite touchdown or points on the board. You come out of the second half, get the ball, need to go down to score. First play of the drive, Carson throws a dart. It's a great play call, great execution. London Humphreys catches the ball. Beautiful play. First down, pickup, bam. We get a penalty, ineligible receiver downfield. A little later in that drive, same thing. You get another 5-yard penalty, backs up, negates a big gain. Yeah. It's just little things like that. Now, I know we went on to score 3 points there, but, you got to punch it in, and we just missed every opportunity, it seemed like, offensively, and just really, really poor performance. I think we've kind of covered it all on the offense side of the ball. Anything else you need to say about it?
Nah, man. But, I know I was really negative during that segment, but that's just kind of how I feel where we're at right now. But there's some football to be left to play, and it can make me eat crow on that segment, as against starting with Tennessee this week. And then you beat Tennessee, you went out the rest of the way, you're going to the playoffs, man. I love the idea of potentially doing that, finishing the season 10-2. I hate we're missing out on the SEC championship game. I know it could be beneficial, but I'm still traditionalist that I want to win the SEC championship as well. It looks like, yes, there's a scenario for that, but it looks like the door's kind of all but closed on that. But in the same sense, man, you get almost 3 weeks until you have a first-round game where you could get guys even healthier, work on some more stuff, and I can promise you if Georgia makes it in this playoff, nobody want to play Georgia.
That's true.
But right now, man, it's definitely we would be unrealistic if we said, oh, everything's fine. They just need to get it going, because right now, man, a lot of red flags. But maybe I'm wrong going into Saturday. We'll see.
Yep. All right, Georgia's defense versus Ole Miss's offense came out of the gate just fiery hot. I thought for a second we might really just take this thing over.
Yeah.
We got pressure first 3 plays of the game, and then obviously the third was intercepted. Great pick by Dan Jackson.
Oh, yeah, I love that, man. That was
Dan
good.
Freaking Jackson.
That was good.
Hats off to Lane Kiffin, though, and Jackson Dart. They really figured this thing out. They killed us in zone coverage, man. And it wasn't anything like they took the top off. They threw it 60 yards down the field and just threw it over our heads or anything like that. But they nickeled and dimed us, and they found the mismatches. They created mismatches, and they hit them, and they got plenty of yak. I don't necessarily think tackling was an issue. I think our defense played pretty well given the circumstances. I give them a B+, A- performance. I really do think they played well.
Yeah.
Offense didn't help them though, right?
No.
And my thing is like if our defense is playing this well and our offense picks it up, man, that makes our defense play even better. Complementary football.
Yeah.
We did not get that yet again, and we keep putting pressure on our defense, man. And it just wears them out. When you're out there fighting and scrapping and clawing, your offense isn't helping you any. It's got to be demoralizing.
Yeah, I think you got to tip your hat to the game plan that Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. called. It was elite play calling and elite execution. Utilized the middle of the field well. Found mismatches, man. We had a lot of guys, linebackers, and stuff in some mismatches that they were able to exploit. They went after some guys at the star position and definitely were keeping Georgia on their heels. One thing that they did well that Georgia was able to capitalize so much on in Austin, Texas is obviously how Jalen Walker was able to eat. I don't understand. The one thing is I still don't understand, but obviously they know a whole lot more than me why you even have Jalen Walker taking one snap at inside linebacker. I would always think it should be on the outside, but that's neither here nor there. But one thing, though, is like, why don't we pin our ears back and go after the quarterback? What Lane Kiffin and they made Georgia's pass rush not a factor, being able to get the football off as quick as they did. And, I think we were very successful in that first drive with a couple tackles for loss there. But I think that's one thing, too. They were able to neutralize our pass rush in a sense of how quick and effective they were able to get the football out of Jackson Dart's hands. Mm-hmm. And ultimately that comes then into coverage downfield. And, they were able to execute that well, and a lot of slant patterns, man, just got us, and able to just get the football out of his hands and make plays. And that's why Lane Kiffin is an elite offensive mind, man.
Yeah.
And you know, he what happened last year was shut down, and as he said, you read it earlier, Clark, he's been waiting all year for this and really drew up a good game plan and had his team ready to just beat Georgia in every single phase of the game, from coaching, playing, out physical to everything on that.
Yep. Jackson Dart, 13 for 22, 199 passing yards, 50 rushing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. When you look at that, it's like, man, you know, he had a good game, I guess. It wasn't bad. It's not – they didn't have just an elite offensive performance, I thought, because our defense, once again, kept us in this game. They kept scrapping. They kept calling. But it was obvious, man, when we got to the very end, they were gassed. They were tired. Our defense front, man, they just kind of gassed out. And but I was proud of the fight and the defense overall. I thought we did a pretty good job of blitzing. We just couldn't get home, at least not beyond the first drive. That was the case, it seemed like. You know, there were several times when we were in zone and they would motion and it'd be an empty set or whatever. And then, you know, the running back would kind of sit in the backfield for a second and then just do a little angle route, man. I don't know how many times they did that yesterday, but that killed us across the middle. There were a couple of times we just had busted coverages and I don't know, just I don't know what to say, man. It's
just outcoached,
it's frustrating.
Man. I mean, sometimes you just got to tip your hat as talented as Georgia's defensive coaching staff is, defensive play is. Sometimes, man, you just get your tail whooped and the X's and O's and the execution. You know, the game plan and the execution. And that's what happened, I thought. Yeah. And there's no other way to put it. Yeah. You just got beat. C.J. Allen and Jalen Walker, man, they got picked on in pass coverage yesterday. Once again, credit to Ole Miss. Found the right matchups.
Yeah, exactly. They attacked the middle of the field and got their speedy guys out on, you know, guys that aren't necessarily built to cover downfield more than 10 yards.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
You know, I wondered, and I don't know how many times I hadn't gone back and looked at the total snaps. It was almost like, man, why don't you just kind of switch to a dime in a sense?
Yeah.
You know, and then maybe then if they beat you with rushing the football with just your pace rush there, then so be it. But it looks like they were bound, rain or shine. They were going to move the ball through the air. It almost like, man, why don't you just go ahead and put 6 DBs on the field right
Yeah, for real.
Exactly. Counter some of that. But obviously, man, I still love Glenn Schumann. He's getting a lot of hate, man. I don't understand that. I mean, yes, obviously this is his first year by himself. When you lose somebody like Will Muschamp, you're not going to replace him, period. Somebody of his caliber, but I'm not ready to daggum just throw Glenn Schumann under the bus. That is just that's crazy.
A terrible take.
But yes, but you can admit that he got out coached and just embarrassed yesterday. But that's fine. That happens in foot. I mean, you don't want to make it a trend by any means, but you learn from it, hopefully. And then if you do meet them again in the playoffs, hopefully you adjust and have a better game plan to counter what Kiffin did. But I mean, that's simple. And I know this is crazy, but that's all I can say, man. It's just Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. put together a plan, and their guys executed better.
Yeah, they did.
Period.
They did. Going back to Schumann right quick. Yeah, the hate is unwarranted. I do not get that. But, you know, think about Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart got out-coached bad several times in his tenure at Alabama. As
all coaches do at some point, man.
Yeah, and it happens. Tip your hat to Ole Miss. They had a great game plan. Offensively and defensively, we got out-coached. We got out-manned. We got outplayed.
And their team wanted it more.
They did. Yep.
I hate saying that, but, I mean, there's no excuses to be made. You just got whooped in every single phase of the game.
And let me say this to go on with that. It happens in football, man.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful game, and it sucks sometimes when you're on the receiving end of what we normally do to teams.
You know, I try to compare games to, you know, it just makes, for whatever weird reason, I like to try to compare games to
other games.
Especially losses. Like, in the past, you know, that game reminded me of, I obviously know on the scoreboard, it wasn't an indicator as far as like a bigger point margin.
Let me guess.
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
Is it 2017 Auburn?
Yes.
Really?
Drive down the field, get up 7-0 early, feel like, oh man, here we go on the road, and then all of a sudden just boom, it all comes unraveled and you don't get it back, you know.
And hey, that same year,
you come back and you beat them again. You know? But yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I felt that game was.
One quick positive, counter blessings here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Freshman Chris Cole, man, is an absolute stud. I think give him some time to develop. Him and Justin Williams one day. Good gosh almighty. Unreal.
Yeah.
We can keep them.
Yeah, man. I mean, absolutely. I just hope, that they continue just the player development's there. I mean, it kind of, you look across the board right now with some of the guys that we're seeing and hoping, man, I'd love this defense and just hope they're ready to go Saturday, because one thing I just hope, and they're not, Clark, but I hope human nature don't kick in, that there's just frustration and finger pointing in the locker room, because that has got to be demoralizing on the defense side of the football when you get stops and stuff, but the offense isn't giving you a motivator by going out and putting points on the board, and then you get eventually in the game, it's like, man, we're gonna have to win this on our own, and it's something that human nature kind of kicks in, but I don't know. I don't think that's happening. A lot of finger pointing in Athens right now.
Well,
but
Malachi Starks called it out after the game. He said, we're not doing that.
Yeah, well, good.
And I love Malachi. He's a good vocal leader, and we need
that's the stuff that needs to be said.
Yep.
That's good.
Yep.
Love that.
So I'm glad it was kind of nipped in the bud. If you had questions or concerns about finger pointing, at least coming from Malachi, that's not going to happen, or he's not going to allow it. So we need that kind of leadership moving forward. Last but not least, special teams versus Ole Miss, man. That unintentional squib kick, I think, actually really hurt us. Put us
on the 9-yard line.
Yeah, put us on the 9-yard line. We just didn't really recover from that, and
that's when the momentum just started coming, spiraling.
The start of the snowball. Yep. Two more positives though. Peyton Woodring, he has hit 31 straight within 50 yards.
Oh man,
let's knock on some wood. Let's knock on some wood here. But man, what a statistic there!
Yeah.
And then Brett Thorson with an absolute coffin corner. Our kickers are elite, people.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt. That's been from game one on the trend right there. It's how good our place kicking and punter has been. So don't need to let that go unnoted. So good job on those guys.
For sure. All right, last thing I'm going to say about this. Adam, you said these three things, and I mean, this is, once again, pretty common keys to the game here. Nothing revolutionary.
Yeah.
But most rushing yards. You said that the game would come down to three things.
Right.
Most rushing yards, turnover battle, who wins line of scrimmage. We lost literally all three of those things by a pretty wide margin. So, and also lost the field position battle throughout the game. So we're going to move on. This game is in the past. I don't think there's much more we can say about it or want to say, quite honestly.
Yeah, all I need to say is I know I was very negative during that segment, and I hate that, but, man, the good thing about it is you still got football to be played. You're still in contention, and this schedule's so daggum hard, man. Yeah. And that's one thing we really we talked about it preseason, but as you've gotten through the gauntlet of it, and then you got Tennessee at home. Thankfully, you're coming home with 3 home games to finish out the year. That's going to be great. But this team still is in position to win a national championship, Clark. I mean, stuff's got to get figured out and figured out fast, but realistically, or, on paper, you're still there to be able to win a national championship. So I'm excited to get behind this team in Athens, man, get loud and rowdy for them and see what Georgia team shows up on Saturday against Tennessee. Exactly. And I'm excited about it. So, all
right,
there we go.
Georgia versus Tennessee this Saturday night, going to be a lot of fun. Is this 7 o'clock or 7:30?
7:30, baby.
7:30. That's right. Sorry, I should know this by now. Got to look forward now, people. The Ole Miss game is in the past officially. Let's talk about a little history here. Georgia leads the series 28-23-2.
Yep.
Dawgs are currently on a 7-game winning streak. That is awesome.
With a 38-13 average score in them 7 games.
Jeez.
Yep.
That's a fun fact right there. Last year we beat Tennessee 38-10 in their place. Remember, we started off with that touchdown was, what was his name? It wasn't Dylan Sampson.
What was his name? I forgot his name, but man, that place got rowdy there for a second.
Yeah, they say it broke the decibel record there in Neyland. Just unreal. And then we flipped the game on its head and won 38-10. Last time Tennessee beat us, 2016. 34-31 in Sanford.
What a fluke. Man.
Yeah.
That would have been a great win, too, coming back like that Jacob Eason pass. But, hey, yeah, that Hail Mary pass, dang, but 7 in a row against them. You asked a Georgia fan that in around 1998, saying that you're going to do that, they wouldn't believe you.
Yeah.
So, man, that's something to be thankful for right there and get excited about.
Dawgs open as a 9.5-point favorite. That's pretty hefty.
Yeah.
But I think Vegas knows something that we don't know. Maybe Georgia can't play any worse than we possibly did at Ole Miss. And, we're going to put it together. We're going to piece it together this week. Who knows? Maybe they're really respecting the Sanford Stadium win streak. Home win streak.
Kirby Smart going to drop 2 games in a row.
When's the last time that's happened? That had to have been 2016, right?
Did it even happen in 16?
Did it even happen? Ooh, that's a good
Oh,
question.
we could get up a fun fact here, Clark.
Let's see
Has
here.
Kirby Smart ever dropped 2 games in a row as a football coach at the university? Wait, yeah, he did. 18. I can tell you right now, 2018. SEC championship and then the
Okay,
Sugar
hold
Bowl.
up. Let's see for regular season.
Regular
Regular season. We lost to Ole Miss and Tennessee. That's not a good omen there. In 2016 back-to-back weeks.
And then Vanderbilt and Florida.
Oh,
Oh man. I
What a
forgot
year.
about them. Okay. All right. Throw that out the window then. Oh, man. That was a long time ago.
1 year.
Miss
For one
Tennessee.
episode, listen, for one episode, we are
And
going
it was
to.
on the road and then at home, Tennessee at home.
Ooh, yeah. One episode, we're going to go and revisit this
Oh,
2016 team and look at what happened.
The start of the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that Nichols game.
Ooh, let's not talk about that one. Here's who Tennessee has played this year. You ready?
Yeah. Give it to us.
Chattanooga.
Ooh, the
Big,
Mocs.
Huge win over
Yep,
Chattanooga. NC State, Kent State, Oklahoma, at Oklahoma.
Yep.
Overtime against Florida at home. They played Alabama at home. They played Kentucky at home. They played Mississippi State at home. One of those games, one of those wins, only one, was on the road.
Wow.
And NC State was a neutral site, but it might as well have been a home game. They took over that stadium. The losses have been, there's just been one, Arkansas.
At Arkansas on the road.
At Arkansas, 19-14. So really, this is their
Good
third road game they've played all season, and it is 100% way more hostile. No disrespect to Fayetteville, as they call it,
Yeah.
Fayetteville.
Well,
But it's going to be way rowdier this week. And I think I'm calling out the fans. If you're going to this game, you better bring your juice.
That's right.
You better rest your voices for
that's
this one.
right, man.
We better bring some energy because dadgummit, man, when we play up there in Tennessee, they make it a living. You know what?
That's right. No, I mean, it needs to be like 2022. It's a playoff game.
Yeah.
You get, we talked about having playoff football with Sanford Stadium in December. This right here is playoff football in November. This is an elimination game for Georgia right here. You win this game, everything's still out in front of you. You lose Saturday, Clark, it's over. It's over. There is no chance of a playoff, making a 12-team playoff. So that's what Saturday means, and it's an exciting opportunity at home. We get a night game. We complain about the lack of night games that we don't get. College game day, all the fanfare. Rival Tennessee, just a terrible fan base that we love to hate, man. And you get to break their heart once again, Clark, because what they're buying on, they're thinking, man, all of those people in Knoxville are really kind of like everybody in the country right now trying to figure out what the SEC championship game is going to be. All these 2-loss teams. Well, Tennessee's sitting there with a bad loss to Arkansas, but only one loss on the schedule, Clark. They're thinking, man, if we get past Georgia, we could go to the SEC championship for the first time since 2007. 17 years ago.
And they didn't win that, by the way.
Same thing they thought. We said this on the podcast 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But they had to come through Athens, Georgia.
That's right.
They have to come through Athens, Georgia again, man. So all that said, that still, man, this is why we love Georgia football is big-time November games in Sanford Stadium like this. It's a blessing. It's a great opportunity. It's a 7:30 kick that would have traditionally been a 3:30 game every other year, but you get a night game, 7:30. The time has changed, so kickoff will be when the sun goes down, and it's going to be a very exciting event, man. I just can't wait for it.
It's going to be electric, baby. And guess what, Adam? I've
What,
heard
Carl?
from a very reliable source.
Have you? Oh, give it to them. Tell them.
Inside scoop here, people. We are going to have pyrotechnics in Sanford Stadium this Saturday night. I believe you're going to see them after we score. If we score. If we score. But if we score, we're going to see them, baby.
You
It's
know
gonna be
what?
awesome.
By gosh, go ahead. Go to the next fire. Go across the state line to South Carolina. Buy out the whole store. Get them things ready to shoot off because we're lighting up the scoreboard, baby. Glass half full. Let's go.
Let's do it. God.
Well, are they going to be red fireworks? Better be.
Well, Adam, what
course
other?
they do.
What other?
But they should be.
color
I didn't know
fireworks?
it was going to be red, white, and blue. I mean, if we got a good deal on some discounted July 4th fireworks
Buy
still
one,
out
get
there.
one free.
If we were just now getting into the pyrotechnic game, you know,
Yeah.
or are we going to, so red fireworks then. So I love that. So that means that Josh Brooks has kind of listened to since the road trip to Texas and kind of the griping of this is the first step, right? And kind of improving the home. All right. I like it, man. Shoot them off.
What if we get a drone show too?
Oh,
Out of nowhere.
yeah, I mean, that'd be wild. I mean, that drone show in Texas was unreal. I really couldn't enjoy the show because it took me the majority of the show to figure out what the heck I'm seeing right now and how this was possible.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was a drone.
was bizarre.
I didn't know drones were capable of doing what they did, but technology's left me.
It's going to be a crazy, awesome environment. Yes, College Game Day. Guys, let's turn the page on Ole Miss. Stop complaining about it. We're going to be glass half full people here on Row 60. I don't know about everybody else in the Georgia football media. Adam, we're media, right?
No, yeah.
I mean, technically,
right, yeah.
Like we control the narrative a little bit, right?
Sure. Yeah.
We like to think we do at least.
I got my griping out in the last segment. I'm done with it. Glass half full. Natty's still on the table. Let's go.
Hey, last thing.
Why not, man? Why not be that way?
Yeah. Last thing before we jump into the actual X's and O's of the game. It is a blackout this week. A fan called blackout.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Oh, yeah. It's gotten a lot of traction on social media. So wear your black, people. We're not going to be weird. We're not going to be superstitious about what uniforms we wear. But if you've got a good, lucky black shirt, let's do it. Bring it to the game. Wear it. Don your black. Make sure it has a Georgia G on it.
Awesome, man. Let's go.
Let's do it, baby.
Let's go.
All right.
Love hearing that.
Let's talk about actual X's and O's here.
All right, let's do it.
Offensively, man, Tennessee has got it going on right now. They want to get you out of position, right? If you're defense, they want to see you spread out thin.
Wide splits.
Wide splits. As wide as you could possibly go.
Yep.
They're going to use all real estate available to them and really stretch you out.
They will.
I mean, they will.
They'll do it.
They want one-on-one matchups. That's what they thrive on. They thrive on explosive plays. It's kind of like Ole Miss's team. It's different style, but they play with a lot of pace. They're 59th in the country, Adam, in passing offense.
Is it called the run and shoot?
I think so, yeah. It's very similar to what Hawaii runs.
Oh. Okay.
Actually, it is what Hawaii runs. Yeah. Actually, I think Hawaii might be a traditional air raid nowadays. Regardless, yes, run and shoot, I think, is the correct terminology to use when talking about Tennessee. 59th in the country in passing offense. They have 236 yards per game through the air. Not bad. Here's where it really gets concerning if you're Georgia. They're 9th in the country in rushing offense, 235 yards per game. That attack is led by Dylan Sampson. We'll talk about him in just a second. And then they are very good on third downs. They're one of the best in the nation there as well. So they got a pretty complete offense. When Nico Iamaleava.
Oh, nice pronunciation.
I have practiced that
Laviava
for a week now.
Laviava.
Right, here we go. You ready?
Yes.
Nico Ia Male.
Iamale.
No. Iamale.
Iamale.
Ava.
Nico Iamaleava.
Adam, there you go.
Nico Iamaleava, baby.
Yes.
I just learned DJ Uyunglele for like the past 3 years. Now I got to learn another one. Dadgummit, man. This is tough. Nico, I don't forget it again. One more time.
Here we go.
Nico Iamaleava.
Perfect.
Iamale. All right, we're good.
If you break it up into 3 syllables, Ia, Male, Ava.
Iamaleava.
But no, Nico, man, he's a great talent. Very talented kid. Has some speed. He has a big arm. If he can actually connect with his receivers, this is a very, very dangerous offense. And they can hit the deep ball, man. They can take the top off real quick. So you got to get
outside the pocket and scramble much. See, will you call him a dual threat guy?
Would you?
I don't think I would.
I'm not traditionally.
Not Jalen Milroe.
No. But
if he sees some open real estate, he'll take off.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, yeah.
I think he might be their third leading rusher.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
all right.
So I mean, they've got Dylan Sampson, obviously, that's their main back,
of course,
right? But they will design some quarterback option, keepers with him this week. Yeah. I would if I'm playing Georgia.
Right.
We do have trouble stopping it sometimes. So, we got to respect him. He's got a big arm. But I think if you're Georgia in this game, you got to get pressure on him. And it feels like, it sounds like we say that every time, but this truly is the case. And you really can lean on the crowd in this one. Mm-hmm. I think we, as a fan base, we can be disruptive and throw him off his rhythm quick.
Yeah.
We got to do that.
I think getting him off his rhythm, man, is the key right there. Because a lot of the Tennessee games I've seen, man, he has a tendency that he can, be very erratic with the football, not be the most accurate passer there.
Erratic?
Yeah, erratic.
Did you just say
erratic? Erratic. Erratic.
Erratic, Adam. Please do not ever say the other again. What a moment. What a moment, everybody. Okay, we're going to move on. there are young gears listening. Just
that.
sorry.
No, that's not even that.
What?
No.
What?
Erratic. All right. We'll talk about this off air because I'm confused. I mean, this no. Let's not go there. That's not. Erratic is the right terminology, and I meant that. I just made the a different sound,
which is a totally different word.
Okay,
it has a totally different meaning.
All right.
All right, continuing. Nico Iamaleava is erratic with the football sometimes. You're right, Adam. I mean, he does have some accuracy issues this year, and of course, knowing our luck, he's going to come in and he'll go 30 for 30 through the air and just light it up erotically. I don't know. I might need to cut this.
What?
Oh, that's great. Good banter. Good banter.
Good deal.
But they will move the pocket outside the tackles. They're going to get him on the run. He's not just a statue in the pocket, is what I'm trying to say.
Right, I understand. Okay. I got you.
All right,
I got you.
Adam Dylan Sampson, number 6, their junior running back, is their workhorse.
Yeah, bell cow.
Their bell cow.
Bell cow.
Yeah.
He's bell cow.
Good word. Patient back. He's got 1,129 yards on the ground this year. Good gosh,
that's good, man.
20 touchdowns. When's the last time Georgia's had a 1,000-yard rusher?
Man, I don't know.
It's got to be, man. I'd really DeAndre Swift, maybe.
That's what I was thinking. Swift, maybe.
God, I don't know.
If that.
Somebody look that up and comment on the YouTube if you don't mind.
On the tube.
And
somebody will.
They've got a trio of receivers that they go to traditionally. I think it's Dante Thornton, their senior wide receiver.
Cousin Dante.
Yeah, 6'5". Brew McCoy.
He's been there 10 years.
Yeah. He has used 3 COVID years, it seems like. Senior wide receiver, 6'3". And then you have, Chris Brazel, sophomore receiver, 6'5". So they got some size, guys. And so, that might potentially be something to look out for. Some mismatches there. And once again, they will throw deep balls. They want to hit deep balls. If they are hitting deep balls, we might be in for it. Because once again, they throw the ball, but man, they're so much more effective when they run the ball too.
Right.
So, and then one last guy to mention, Squirrel White. He is their kind of 4th guy, slot receiver, junior. Lots of speed.
He's been there 8 years.
Yeah. No, he's a junior, Adam.
Golly, man.
So I don't know. Maybe he's red shirt or something, but lots of guys who've played a lot of football at Tennessee, skill position-wise. Defensively, they're 15th in the country in passing yards, only allowing 171 yards per game. 9th in the country in rushing defense, allowing 100 yards per game. And that's not good because Georgia, this year, we haven't gotten over 100 yards per game a lot of times.
I don't think they've given up over 20 points in the SEC game yet.
Really?
I don't think.
That sounds right.
I don't think. That's kind of a just fly off the hip. Thought I saw a stat, but can't confirm it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Clark, that's one thing, again, like Ole Miss, they've done a good job of, getting these offensive coaches who in their first couple of years of their tenure lit up the board offensively, but just couldn't stop. I'll say that, but couldn't stop anything. I'll just say they couldn't stop anything defensively and, readjusted, got some guys in, made some coaching staff changes and have really turned into a pretty dang good, respectable defense up there in Knoxville, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but they're really on the elite spectrum of defensive football players up there. I mean, yes, their schedule probably hadn't been the strongest, but
well, we've said that about Ole Miss.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, I mean, a defense that we're not used to seeing in Knoxville, I'll say.
True. Yeah. They're one of the best in the country in terms of red zone defenses. Mm-hmm. They're one of the best in stopping third down conversions. They've allowed something like 25% or less, maybe give or take a few percentage points there, but that's
neither one doesn't sound good compared to when you look at Georgia's offensive statistics in those same categories.
Yes. We're one of the bottom 50, I think, don't quote me on this, on third down conversions offensively. So That does not bode well for the Dogs.
But the game's not played on paper.
Exactly. Hey, we said that last week.
It's not played on paper, by guys.
We said that last week, and then we lost.
We're going to say it again this week, Clark. We're going to say it again this week, by gosh.
Defensively, too, man, their front seven, God, they're pretty stout. They've got some great pass rushers, one of them being James Pierce Jr. He's an absolute stud. And then, they get pressure with 4 guys. I mean, it's not like they have to bring the house to get to you.
That's a blessing as a defense coordinator. When your base rush can get home and cause a little bit of havoc, and you don't have to use exotic blitz packages, Clark.
I remember those days.
In the sky, yeah, that you could just get home, bringing 4 like that. That opens up a lot of different things that you could do with your defensive play calling. So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think how much they've improved on the defense side of the football up there.
Yeah. They play fast downhill. They're very disciplined. Just a good team overall, man, well-rounded, and it's going to take a pretty good game.
It'll take good effort.
It will take a very good effort.
Thankfully, it's at home.
It is.
Thankfully, it's at home, man.
Yep, thank God it's in Sanford Stadium. But we can't come out playing flat. This Tennessee team has come out playing flat probably the past 5 games. You go back. Every single one of them, they haven't been firing on all cylinders, at least offensively. Maybe defensively, that might not be true. There was a stat I had, but anyway, they're susceptible to slow starts in the first half. Before Mississippi State, here's the stat. Before Mississippi State, I think they were only averaging 1.8 points per first half.
Yeah. Yeah.
The past 4 before Mississippi State.
Wow.
That's insane, is it not?
That is insane.
Meaning they kicked a field goal in a game and the first half of a game, and then they went scoreless in the first half of another game, and 1.8 through 4. That's terrible.
That's bad.
So if you're Georgia, you really lean on the crowd defensively.
Yeah.
And you go get after Nico Iamaleava.
Yeah, man. I mean, this offense definitely, Clark, you said has put up some good numbers, but I don't think they're near the Hendon Hooker 2022 level Tennessee offensive production in a sense.
But they could be that.
But they could be that. I mean, that potential is there if everything is on, man. But I mean, a complete football team, really. They really are. And you got to tip your hat again to another coach. Josh Heupel's done a great job up there in a place that's been hard to turn around. And he's done that now. He's in his 21, 22, 23, 24, fourth year up there, and really got him believing. And this is a monstrous game for them, Clark. That fan base, I can imagine. I can only imagine what they're thinking up there, especially after Georgia's last performance and what's on the table for them as well. And they're going to be ready to play.
Yeah.
They're going to be ready to play, no doubt.
Let me ask you this right quick. Do you think if we beat Tennessee, are they out of playoff contention entirely?
They might. That's something we could do a whole daggum episode on is the 2-loss SEC teams, man, because you're going to have a plethora of 2-loss SEC teams, and then you're going to have, obviously, the 2-loss SEC team who's going to win the SEC championship, or if Texas runs the table, they're the 1-loss team that wins it. But then are you going to have, I guess, the team that gets the 3rd loss and gets punished for going to the SEC championship will drop out of it. But then I think what it's going to boil down to and why I feel comfortable about Georgia winning Saturday and making it into the college football playoff as a 2-loss team, even though Alabama and Ole Miss will be in the mix of those teams as well, is because that's when the toughness of the schedule benefits you, because you're going to have a top 20 win, top 25 win over Clemson, put a feather in your cap. You're going to have, of course, beating number 1 Texas, and then you're going to have a beating number 7 Tennessee too. So I don't think there's
and then your 2 losses are on the road against top, what?
Yeah,
20
they'll be
opponents.
top 12 opponents then. You know, Alabama and Ole Miss will, so top 15 at least. And but also there won't be any of those teams in the SEC that have 3 impressive wins like that.
Right. Oh, I agree, for sure.
I mean, I think if A&M beats Texas, they're done.
Yeah. Because
if A&M beats Texas, then you're looking at A&M's most impressive win is a 3-point win in Nashville, Tennessee against Vanderbilt. The cupcake schedule that the people in Birmingham gave Texas that would be just great. Comes back to bite them like that. So, man, I mean, that's what the beauty of it. There's going to be so much fun and just seeing, just how, crazy this conference has been, how it's all going to sort out at the end.
We better win this Saturday and keep it interesting.
You win this Saturday and you finish your job. You win this Saturday, catapult that momentum, of course, against UMass and Georgia Tech, then you're in the 12-team playoff. End of discussion. Georgia will make it going 10-2, period.
Love it.
We said that from the beginning of the year.
Yeah. This will 100% be a defensive slugfest, Adam. You said it when I was calling you on the way back from Ole Miss last night, and you said this is going to be a low-scoring game, and I think you're dead on with that. Take the under. If you're a betting man, this is one game I think you'd be okay taking the under in. 49.5 points. Are you kidding?
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. I'm just saying that we're saying this, then it's going to be 45-42.
Yeah. And then somebody's going to blame me.
That's right, for taking the under. No, I know.
Wait. Do we need to add like the disclaimer, the 1-800-GAMBLER?
Yes, the 1-800-GAMBLER. If you have a problem or an addiction, call 1-800 GAMBLER.
Yeah. I didn't tell y'all to do that. I just said that is what I would do.
Hotline's open in all states. Yeah. But anyway, no, I agree in all seriousness that this will be a very low-scoring affair. Mm-hmm. That's what the trend is, man.
Oh, man. Well, it's going to be a fun one. We'll do some score.
I'm excited about it, man. I'm ready to go. Let's close the door on it. All the goals still in front of you. Big-time rival coming into Athens that night. Yeah. What more could you ask for?
You want to be great? All right, let's talk about some Week 11 games right quick.
All right, let's talk about them, baby.
Miami at Georgia Tech. Wow, did not see this coming. I don't think I saw this coming. An outright upset. I thought Tech might be able to keep it close.
Yeah, I didn't.
Tech just said, no, forget that. Brent Key, hats off to him.
I blame all this on me.
What'd you say?
You don't remember last episode where I said, don't look now, but Georgia Tech has a chance to not go bowling because they could lose to Miami, NC State, and Georgia round out of the year. And I was kind of poking fun at Brent. I was. I did. Heard it. That's on me. That's on me, guys. I'm sorry. What a day for a Georgia Tech fan. Wow. They get to storm the field against beating Miami, and then they get to see somebody beat Georgia, and they get the field stormed on them. Georgia, I mean.
What a day for the nerds. Good for them, I guess. Happens once in a lifetime.
It felt like that was going to happen with Miami sooner rather than later. And I still hope they make the playoff because I think they would be a great team to play in a 12-team playoff.
It'd be
this
fun.
Miami team.
Yeah.
But it opens the daggum door for Clemson now to get in the playoff by making it into the ACC championship and winning it. But hated that result, every bit of it.
Yep. Alabama at LSU, 7:30 ABC. 42-13 beat down. The Tide handed the Tigers. Yeah, this was wow all across the board. I don't know of anybody that saw this coming. I don't think.
No, I didn't see it coming. I think I picked LSU. I thought, Brian Kelly's I don't know the statistic. They've won like 13, 14 straight night kicks in Baton Rouge, and Brian Kelly's had 8 of them or so. Kind of thought that LSU's a team that probably is going to beat this rendition to Alabama, and it could always be worse. At least we're not LSU fans. They're done. They're eliminated. That was it right there. Mm-hmm. And just smacked by Jalen Milroe and Kalen DeBoer. Maybe Alabama is getting things together and peaking at the right time.
Well, we'll see.
I hate to say that, but we'll see. I mean, but good win for them. Bad loss for Brian Kelly. Sure. I mean, we don't live in LSU country, but I can only imagine what the local sports radios in New Orleans and around Baton Rouge, Louisiana, are going to be like Monday morning. Yeah,
because they really were hopeful this season.
Make a playoff spot, man. I mean, this is year 1, 2, 3 of Brian Kelly, Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's already just as an odd fit to me. But, I mean, it's going to wind up being a disappointing year.
Yeah. All right, last game from last week that we picked, UNLV at Hawaii. 9 o'clock CBS Sports Network. Oh, man. Hawaii, the Rainbow Warriors were so close, Adam. 29-27.
That's a moral win, Clark.
I guess
I thought it was going to be a blowout. I really did.
I knew it'd be close because Hawaii does show up to play in these kinds of games, especially when it's a rivalry game. They do. I've been keeping up with the Rainbow Warriors.
Do they? Yeah. Timmy Chang has them ready to go.
He does. Right. There's not a motivation problem on the island.
Now, let me ask you this. Are the natives getting restless with Timmy Chang, or are they going to have patience with their native son?
They'll be all right with him for a few more years, but he's going to have to post. He's going to have to get to a bowl game.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got to go to a bowl game at some point. And it can't be the Hawaii Bowl. It's got to be somewhere that the people can travel to.
True. True. That's right.
And take a vacation.
Right. Take a vacation off the island. That's right.
Oh, man, my Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. All right, Week 12 pick 'em. Moving on to this week. We don't have a great slate of games. There's only 4 I have here for us.
Okay.
We'll start with number 5, Texas at Arkansas. 12 o'clock ABC. Texas is favored by 16.5 points, Adam.
Wow.
What do you like here?
Give me Texas winning this game, man. I hate to say it, but it's probably going to be the end of the road for Sam Pittman in Arkansas. And Texas looked really good against not a great Florida team, but they did what they had to do. They looked good. Give me Texas winning pretty big in Fayetteville.
To cover 16.5?
Yes.
I'm going to say Arkansas actually covers. Texas wins outright, but I think it's going to be a little bit closer. Texas did look really good against a beat-up Florida team. Does Arkansas have Taylon Green back yet?
I don't know that. Don't know for sure.
No. Okay. I don't know of any Arkansas fans. Otherwise, I'd ask them.
Yeah. Not
Anyway,
too many of them wandering around Northeast Georgia.
a lot of these people wandering around Northeast Georgia.
Yes,
number
right.
23, Clemson, at number 18,
Ooh,
Pittsburgh.
man, this is good.
This is a good one.
This is a real good one.
Clemson is favored by 10. This game's at 12 o'clock. ESPN. I don't know. I've not watched a single snap of Pittsburgh Panther football this year.
Yeah.
Have you?
No, I haven't, man. But I guess this is kind of a ACC championship elimination game, right?
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I know Pitt got beat by SMU. That's their only conference loss. Clemson has one conference loss. So, man, it's going to be tough. Clemson looks like they've struggled here recently. They lost to Louisville 2 weeks ago, got beat pretty well in Clemson. Started out slow against Virginia Tech last week, but I do think Clemson winds up winning a close one in Pittsburgh.
I'm with you. Clemson by a little. Though if Pittsburgh wins and proves us wrong, I would not complain
I'd
at all.
love it. I'd love it.
Way to live it up. All right, number 15, LSU at Florida, 3:30 ABC. I really don't even know I have this one on the slate. It's just, hey, it's
It's a rivalry game.
Yes, rivalry. LSU, 4.5-point favorites in the swamp. Florida or LSU, Adam?
Is DJ Lagway going to play?
Great question. I have no idea.
I mean, if DJ Lagway's not playing, it's not even going to be competitive. I mean, bless the Warner kid's heart, man. Going out there with a lot of heart. Trying.
Yeah.
Living this dream, though. I mean, you got to say that's awesome. A guy who's transferred from the Ivy League, getting to start and play significantly in SEC ball, living a dream. So not hating on the kid whatsoever for that. But I just don't see Florida putting up any kind of fight with him as their quarterback. Lagway could be a little bit more interesting, especially I don't know what the culture is right now at LSU after just getting basically eliminated from playoff contention with their third loss and in the demoralizing fashion it was at home at night against Alabama. But I do think they'll rebound against just a depleted Florida team and win that game.
Yeah, I think the Florida fan base is probably pretty divided right now. Billy Napier fans.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
There's, I think, that crew, and then there's a lot more on the fire Billy Napier, get rid of him crew. So, split fan base, that spells trouble. Give me LSU by a pretty good margin, actually, rebounding after a disappointing week last week.
I hope the whole athletic department of Gainesville burns to the ground.
All right.
It's well on its way. Right
Okay.
now. Yeah, all of it.
You're talking about the building or just
The equestrian team, the volleyball team, the men and women's golf team, the basketball, all of it.
But are you talking about the institutions of those, the people, or the buildings?
No, I don't wish any bad will on the individual, just their collective sports taking a lot of L's.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's, I didn't know if you're being literal or not.
No. Of course not. Of course not. Never.
I mean, no, I'm not going to wish that on them. I hate them, but not that much. Never mind. All right. Number 1, Oregon at Wisconsin, 7:30 NBC. Camp Randall, baby. I think Wisconsin's due an upset. It's not going to be this, though. Oregon, 14.5-point favorites. Give me Wisconsin to cover, but not win outright. Oregon, I think, sneaks out alive.
Yeah, the Big Ten is another interesting, who's going to play the championship there? I mean, I guess Oregon is going to definitely be in it. And Indiana and Ohio State, they play each other, don't they? Do they play each other next week?
Maybe. Northwestern
One of the
plays
next
Ohio
2 weeks.
State this week, so.
Yeah, I think they actually do play each other. But Indiana's 10-0 with 2 games remaining.
Yep.
And one of them might be against Ohio State. I'm not 100% sure on that. But very interesting there. Yeah, Oregon wins that game, Clark.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go to the pick 6.
All right.
You ready, Adam?
Let's do it.
All right. Last week's results, we did states you would love to live in other than Georgia. I said Florida, Tennessee, Hawaii. You said Texas, Oklahoma, Montana. All 6, I think, are I would live in any one of those 6, honestly. But I did win 84-53. So
Oh, get on you, Clark.
I'm giving myself
you.
a clap
Get on you.
because you started really, man, you started making a
I got on
comeback
a roll there. I didn't think that people would agree with that, but I went with my heart. It had to be true instead of just throwing, just places out there
The
that I thought
obvious
that
ones.
would be attractive to the fan. But I had to stay with my heart.
Wait, you thought I was pandering?
I thought you were pandering
for the popular
for the
vote.
popular vote, and but I stayed true to myself on it.
Well, that's good.
I'm just kidding. I know you. I know, but I was fully expecting to take the L this week.
Okay.
100%.
Well, you got a chance to rebound.
not this week.
You
Not
got a
this
chance to rebound.
All right,
This
let's do
week's
it.
topic is our favorite Southern sayings. Okay. And let me preface this with it could be a phrase or it could be a word.
Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't
word too.
Word too.
I got phrases, man.
Well, okay. Word or phrase.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. All right. Give
Feel
it to
good
you.
about
yes,
it?
sir. Feel good about it.
Does the word throw it off or do you want me? I mean, I can switch it up.
No. No. That's good.
You good
That's
with the word?
Yeah, I was already thinking about what I'm going to do in rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
Right there. So
All
that's
right.
what-
Oh, okay. All right. Here we go.
Wait. Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
I was like
smart of
4 straight. Because you knew I've been going scissors the past
Yes,
3
yes.
weeks. Oh, and I thought you were going to say, like, he's going scissors again. I'm going rock. That's why I went.
Maybe we need to start flipping a coin.
Ah, man. No, that's fine. That's fine.
all
That's fine. I just got to get better. Got to, man. Anyway.
Okay.
Some mental gymnastics.
I'm gonna do an audible, Adam, because I don't think this would be fair.
No, it's fine. You
No.
do it.
Listen. I don't think this one would get a lot of votes. So I'm just gonna exit the word. No words, just phrases. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Southern sayings. My first one off the board is bless your heart. I say it all the time.
It's not a compliment.
It's not a compliment. It's sort of derogatory. It's I feel so sorry for you. It's just pitiful. Like,
Yeah.
oh, bless
Yeah.
your heart. Like,
Yeah.
And then what really
A lot of
happens-
women use it. It's really a
women
women
use it, sure,
phrase, yeah.
yes, but I use it at football games.
You
Very sarcastically. I
Yeah.
did it at Ole Miss, actually.
did you?
They were complaining about a face mask call late in the game, and I was just frustrated anyway. And I was like, I was just boo-hooing to everybody, weeping at the crowd.
Yeah.
Which is that was a
Yeah.
bad move on my
Yeah.
part because we're getting our tails kicked at that point. But anyway, I just started saying, bless your heart,
Yep. Yep.
boo-hoo. But yeah, bless your heart, man. It's a nice way of saying like, you're pathetic.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
suck it up.
Yeah.
It's a Southern way of saying,
Right.
oh, poor you.
That's right. Yeah.
So I like bless your heart.
Yeah.
All right. What you got?
Well, what mattered than a wet hen?
Oh, okay. All right. I like
that one.
Yeah.
That old girl there. She's married a wet hen after that. After so and so broke up. Well,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's
Why do you always use a breakup example? I love it. It's like, or you use like a relationship as an example.
I just so
Matter than
married a
a
wet hen.
Interesting. When did you learn that in life? Like, was that recently or
No,
just
it's
always
been a
heard it?
while. Been a while. Yeah, I mean, I don't use that a lot, but I mean, it's always when I get a good chuckle every time I hear it.
Yeah, because you could probably
I'm saving
picture that.
my next two though. I wanted to go ahead and take that one off the board because my next two are ones that I use pretty frequently.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, my next one, Adam, is I reckon.
Yeah.
Like, I reckon I'll go do that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really want to, but
Yeah.
I reckon I'll go cut the grass today or weed eat,
Yeah.
I like the word reckon too.
Yeah.
I thought it was a made up word, but then I looked it up and
Yeah.
it is a legitimate word
Yep.
because there is a word called reckoning. To reckon is to establish by accounting or
Yep.
calculation, to sort of calculate or to consider or
Right.
regard in a specified way. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I reckon I'm going to go edit this podcast tonight.
Yeah. I reckon. I like it. I mean, I use I reckon all the time.
Yeah.
So I reckon so.
I reckon.
So. All right, good strong.
I reckon we're going to win
two
this week.
two strong ones out of the gate, Clark.
Okay. All right. What's your second one?
Deader than a doornail.
What?
Deader than a
No,
doornail.
deader than a doornail. Okay.
Deader than a doornail.
All right. What's deader than a doornail? Give us an example. Use that in a sentence.
Oh yeah, like it's like man, I'm not going to use like an actual person saying like
okay.
that.
Do an
he or
animal or
she's
something.
deader than a doornail. Yep. It said just basically say. I mean, yeah, that thing was deader than a doornail.
Like a deer on the side of the road.
Exactly.
just bless its heart. It got run over, got killed, and it's just
There than the doornail.
I like it. All right, for my third one, Adam.
Yeah.
Knee high to a grasshopper. I love
good.
that
That's a
one.
good one.
I don't
That's a
know
good
why, but like I guess I could just picture a grasshopper and then somebody literally being knee high to that. It's got to be really
classic.
small, you know.
Classic.
Knee high
That's
to a
right.
grasshopper.
That's right.
And normally you're saying it to a little kid who's growing up, right? You know, he's still knee. I remember him when he was knee high to a grasshopper.
Yeah, that's a good one. That was a good one.
I don't personally use that a lot, but when I hear it, it's
you got to get a good chuckle out of it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. My all-time favorite one is next.
Okay. Oh wow, you saved the best for last. Okay.
Going to hell in a handbasket. Going to hell in a handbasket. That old boy don't straighten up. He's going to hell in a handbasket. Or this offense is going to hell in a handbasket.
That's the best context right there.
This offense is going to hell in a handbasket.
Oh my gosh, that was great. I did not see that one coming. And I've rarely, I've heard it before, but I don't think I've ever heard anybody use it.
Yep, that's good.
Well, and two, I mean, most Southerners don't like to use the word hell. So when they do, it's kind of.
Well, there's difference when you're you're referring to
an actual place.
Yes. And then the other in Southern lingo, that is,
right.
When at least kind of how I was, in the sense of it.
One more saying, I don't know if this is necessarily Southern, and this does not count on my board, by the way, is, oh shoot, hold up. Oh, there's not a snowball's chance in hell. Is that a Southern saying, or is that just a saying?
Yes, I don't know.
Like, what classifies it being a Southern saying?
I don't really know. I don't really know there's classification. It's just stuff I've just heard growing up
in the South.
But I know the good one I had that didn't make my board, which probably should have looking back on it, is I love when it is poured down rain and going, it's a frog strangler out there.
Frog strangler? I've never heard that.
It's a frog
strangler.
Frog strangler.
What does that even mean?
That it's raining so much that it would strangle a frog.
Oh, okay.
Frog strangler.
Why wouldn't it be drown a frog or something?
Because that don't roll off the tongue. Right?
Okay,
strangler. It's like, it's raining so much it'll drown a frog. That just don't sound right. It's a frog strangler.
Yeah.
It's a frog strangler.
What about hissy fit? You like hissy
I love
fit?
a hissy fit.
Or heavens to Betsy?
Nah, man, no.
Yeah, it's a little overrated.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't have a dog in that fight.
Yep.
Barking up the wrong tree. Oh, man. Well, all right.
That was good. I enjoyed that. That was good.
I was trying to think of something Tennessee related and Georgia related. And then I was like, you know what? Georgia and Tennessee people talk, pretty similarly. Mm-hmm. We've got more rednecks down here. They've got more hillbillies, moonshiners. And they all kind of talk. They all
from
have
the same
dialect.
southeastern part of the United States. Then, so
all salt of the earth people.
Yep.
And we love our sayings, and we love our food, and we love our fellowship and our football. So
that's right.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, we'll put those up on YouTube and on Instagram. Yes, you can vote on YouTube now. Shout out to you, Star Wars Dog, showing me that feature. I didn't know you could do that. You actually got a few more votes than I did on YouTube, I think.
I should, as it should be.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
The YouTube.
Did you rig this?
No, I did not. No. There were no mail-in ballots.
All right.
No mail-in ballots. We're getting a little too political on this.
I'm just getting a little too giddy about it. Sorry. All right, no, I'm sorry.
This is not about that. This is about Georgia football and Georgia, Tennessee. Oh, man. Hey, if you've enjoyed this episode.
But go ahead.
Yep. If you've enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave us a review on Spotify
or
Apple Podcasts. We do see those and we do appreciate those. Those do help other people join this Row 60 community.
That's right.
If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. Tell us what your 3 favorite Southern sayings are in the comments. I'm curious what y'all like to hear around the South.
Yep.
All right. Score prediction versus Tennessee. Adam, I have not even thought of this one. I've not even thought of a score prediction. So let me just think of one off the top of the dome.
Yeah, go with your heart right now. Like what just something just take a moment, pause, and just go with the first score you think of.
I'm going 28-17.
There we go, baby.
Dogs on top. By 11.
Eerie similar to mine.
Okay.
Eerie similar to mine.
Let's hear it.
All right. Look, here we go, Clark. Look, I'm sorry that I was negative on this podcast with it, but I've let that out. Now it's time to turn the page, man. We are a spoiled fan base. We are still a spoiled fan base, man. And Kirby Smart's not losing 2 in a row. Period. He's not losing 2 in a row. National championship hopes and dreams are still in front of us, man. Yes, there's stuff to be fixed, but if anybody can do it, it's Kirby Paul Smart, man. And to be able to instill what needs to be the mindset and the attitude of this Georgia football team going forward. 3 home games left in Sanford Stadium, the most brutal schedule in the country. You're through the biggest gauntlet of it. You have Tennessee coming, then you get a big rival in Georgia Tech with UMass in between. Finish this season strong, Clark. 10-2 Georgia with the wins that they have over Clemson, Texas, and what will be a number 7 ranked Tennessee team in Athens. It's the most impressive resume in college football, I think.
Yep.
Maybe outside of an undefeated Oregon in the Big Ten, whatever. But as far as those wins right there, that is getting you into the 12-team playoff. And then you start 0-0. It's a new slate. It's a new season.
Yes.
And then it is time to let it rip right there. So right now, I encourage all these fans, get excited this week, man. There's not a lot of football left. So enjoy every second of it. I'm big on that. And especially when we get to anticipate big-time rivalry, historic matchups, and especially when they're in Sanford Stadium at night. All eyes of the college football world is going to be on Sanford Stadium. All eyes of the college football world are going to be hoping that this is where the giant is buried. It's in Athens, Georgia. Everybody in college football, every fan base is hoping that Tennessee wins, that Georgia is buried, because honestly, they might not say it, but nobody wants to play Georgia in the 12-team playoff.
That's it.
Nobody wants to play them, man, because they know what the potential could be there. So, hey, let's get behind this offense. Get behind this whole team, man. Get loud and rowdy, whether you're at home or you're in Sanford Stadium, because this game is big, and there's nothing better than dismantling Tennessee season again. That is something, hey, death, taxes, and Georgia beating Tennessee and disrupting their historic season. Maybe, hey, Georgia wins. Maybe Tennessee will write a volume 2 of their coffee book, or their coffee table book that they have from the 2022 season. Georgia's winning this football game 24-17, baby.
Wow.
It's going to be a fun night at Sanford Stadium. Time to get rowdy, get a 10-win regular season, and go to the playoffs. Get some rest. It's time to let the big dog eat, baby. Don't give up on this football team just yet. Let's go. Saturday night. It's going to be rocking. It's what we love Georgia football. It's all about. Get loud, get rowdy. Go Dogs!
Go Dogs!
Baby.